Much as a lot of people want to start new beauty brands, we have observed that there are certain mistakes that are easy to be made. And so today, I'll be talking about the top 10 mistakes that new beauty brands make and how you can avoid them. Mistake number one is launching into a very competitive category. The beauty industry has some categories that are more competitive than the other. Some competitive examples are skincare, hair care. There are already a lot of products and brands operating in these niches. It's better that you start off in a niche that is not as competitive or crowded. So that way you can easily get attention and people can easily trust you. And the way you can test this is if you ask everyone you know, how many brands can they name doing what you're trying to do? If everyone you know can name 5 brands already or 10 brands, that already indicates that that is a saturated industry. Mistake number two is you're trying to create a product that targets too many problems. Gone are the days in the beauty industry where people want a single product with 10 functions. Let me give you an example. The petroleum jelly in the past was something people use for their body, for their face, for their hair. And that made sense because people just wanted a lot of value stacked in one product, but not anymore. In this era, people prefer product that targets specific problems. An example, product that targets acne, a face cream for people with oily skin. That's how specific you need to make your product. Mistake number three is launching without a unique positioning or a selling point. The way you can test that is outside product quality. What reasons does a consumer have to choose your product over other people? Which means if you have the same product quality as everyone in that space, what is another reason that someone can look and say, this is the brand that I prefer? If you don't have an answer to that, that probably means you don't have a clear brand positioning. And there are different ways you can do that. One, you can position yourself through your product. And this means you need to create a radically different product. An example is Gizo launching products that are honey infused. That sets them apart in the industry. As much as other people are making hair care product or skincare product, there are not many people with such a value proposition. Another way to do this is by having a brand positioning. An example is Fenty. Their positioning is that they stand for inclusivity. Mistake number four is not knowing your target audience clearly enough. When a lot of people are asked, who are your target audiences? You hear responses like women from ages 5 to 10, women can be that young. Women from ages 20 to 45 who live in urban areas. That is just touching on one aspect of defining your target audience. Target audience definition has different levels. At the top is the demographics, which covers things like the age, their location, their profession, and all those outward things. You need to know your consumers beyond that. You need to know their pain points. You need to know their motivation, their interest. Why is this important? These are the things that will help you nail your marketing and get it right. If you know what a consumer's pain points are, then it's easy for you to present your product and say, hey, do you have constant headaches? Do you have constant back pain? This is a drug that will help you take care of that within 5 minutes. A customer would respond to such an ad because you've called out the pain points that they are experiencing. Mistake number five is producing in too little batches. A lot of times we're advised to start small and scale gradually. That is a very good advice in most cases, but when it comes to starting a beauty business, you want to try as much as possible to produce in batches that are a lot. And here's what that will do for you. If you produce in small batches, one, you won't get the advantage of pricing because your formulator would likely charge you more if you are producing just tens. But if you are producing in hundreds of thousands, you get to enjoy the economics of scale. You get your product far cheaper than you would if you were just making 10. Another thing that producing in too little batches do for you is it makes you susceptible to inflation too easily, which means If the prices of ingredients go up in the following week, it will have no choice than to affect your pricing. And that's why you see brands needing to change their pricing every month or thereabouts, which is not great. You want to try as much as possible to produce in big batches. I'm not saying go and make thousands of a unit of a product you haven't tested and you don't know if people would accept it, but be in between. Don't start from too small and don't start from too big. Another thing that making product in small batches rob you of is it doesn't make consumers perceive you as big enough. There is something about seeing product on the shelves of a brand. It gives you that impression that this is a big brand or they are standardized. And that's something you wouldn't enjoy if you produce in too little batches. Mistake number 6 is pricing either too little or too high. Pricing is not just the amount that you put on your product and hope that people pay you. You can be more strategic about it, and there are different pricing strategies. The common one is what we call cost plus strategy, which means this product costs you $5 to make, and then you add another $5 on it and sell it for $10, which is the most common example. But there are better ways to do your pricing. One is you can do a competitive analysis, see how much people that are selling similar products are pricing it for. And combined with this is to talk to potential customers, see how much they are willing to pay for this, and aggregate the numbers and add your profit margin to it. You need to consider other factors like your rent. I know you're producing in the corner of your room right now, but imagine you were renting a physical store and you're paying utility bills every month. Would you still price your product the way you are? And for those who are interested, we have a very, very easy yet comprehensive pricing template that you can get free of charge. Look in the description and you'll find a link to it. People have been giving us awesome comments about how helpful this pricing template is. And it does not just apply to beauty brands. You can use it for any kind of business. Mistake number 7 is making decisions without data or without some form of research. Sometimes you're trying to decide what product will the market need, and you just do that based off your personal instinct. Instinct can be great, but what's even better than instinct is backing it up with data. So before making certain decisions, such as where to sell, where to locate your store, the platform to focus on, the marketing channels to use, you should do your research. Don't just go by the notion that Instagram is the place where people sell and then you focus all your energy on that. Of course, Instagram is a great place for most category of businesses, but do your research. Don't just decide based on your feelings or emotions. Mistake number 8 is sticking with best practices. There are so-called best practices in business. And an example I'll give you is when Elf Beauty launched in 2004, one of the things that was common is you only sold in physical stores. It was unheard of that you wanted to launch a beauty brand and you want to take it online as your primary channel. And that was what Health did. Another thing they did against the grain was that instead of them pricing their product at premium pricing, because they had a very high quality product, they sold it for a fraction of the value, which made people accept the brand more. I know there are instances where you need to follow best practices, but you have to be willing to trust your gut. If there's any part to trust your gut, it is in standing out. People are using plastic for their containers. Do you want to use something different from yours? We've seen a brand like Liquid Death do this and it blew up their acceptance. Don't stick with best practices. Go beyond them. That's what stands you out. Mistake number 9 is tracking vanity metrics. What are vanity metrics? These are metrics that really don't impact your bottom line. Example, likes on Facebook. You want views. Those things are great, but they don't always translate into sales. And as a starting brand, as a startup brand, that should be your obsession. You have to be obsessed with the numbers. How is this decision going to bring me the sales? How is this platform, how is this influencer I'm paying going to drive revenue for my business? Don't focus on things that really don't impact your business. Be very brutal. And mistake number 10 is not thinking long term. We were talking to a prospect recently who called our company, and she told us about how she takes her time in formulating product. She told us that a certain product took her over 8 months before she could reach that point of saying, yes, this product is good to go. And it took another 8 months to formulate that product. That's an idea of how thorough you also have to be with your product quality. I understand the excitement that comes with wanting to launch your beauty brand. You can't wait to get into the market, but please take your time. Think long term. Spend enough time. Make sure you have the right product quality. There are a lot of brands these days producing low quality products that are harming people. You don't want to be among that pack. So spend your time. Think long term that this is something you'll be doing for decades to come. So why rush the product? Why rush the packaging? Spend time, do your research, and make quality decision. That's it. And I do hope you found value in this video. Scrutiny is a beauty consultancy company, and our mission is to make scaling your beauty business as easy and as fun as possible. And that's why we create content like this. We're starting this YouTube channel, and it would mean a whole lot if you can give us a subscribe. If you like this video, share with a business friend, give us a like, and leave your comment below. Anything else I should say? All right.